love now, even though I hated her for a full 6 months. I didn't hate you. I was just annoyed. I didn't like having to get you that table at Retro all the time.
And you guys, just on the same note, I just started a couple of months ago who literally I looked back on my Facebook messengers and we had first started talking 4 years ago. And every now and then she would reach out and we'd have a little back and forth and she would sort of say something about program, but she would never really come on board. She just finally came on board with her husband a month ago after years, and she lost, I mean, they're both also quite heavy, and he's lost 29 pounds the first month and she's lost, I forget, like I think 18. But the point is, she's like, oh my gosh, we can breathe so much better, we can walk up the stairs. And same with them, they said we're going to try it for 1 month and we'll see how we feel. And they have a lot of weight to lose, so they're taking it one at a time. They're feeling so much better, and now they're saying we're going to do another month. But the point was, with Karen and with this couple, it was a long time where they weren't ready. When people are ready, they'll be ready. So, when you do talk to people and they say no, sometimes it means not now. So,
Right.
Kat mentioned the ketchup, and then for anybody who's never heard that, when you offer somebody the gift of health and they say no, don't get all flustered and insulted. A waitress asks you if you want ketchup with your hamburger, and if you say no thanks, she doesn't cry and walk away. Oh, they wouldn't have ketchup. So we are offering something, and do not be attached to the outcome, right? Who's learned that?
Yep. Getting there. So is Karen Dobbins Swantek?
Yes, that's me.
I'm going to add you.
When you can get there, Kat, when you can get to the point where you're not hurt and insulted when someone says no, it's so freeing.
Actually, I think I am there, because I've like that friend of mine who was all gung-ho. I literally had her name and everything already in the system. And then she's like, well, actually thinking maybe I could try to do this on my own, I could save some money. I'm like, you know what? If you could do this on your own, that's fine. It's probably slower. You're not going to have the benefit of the fat burn. But if you feel that that's what you want to do, that's fine. So I kind of just left it. But I have a feeling in a couple of months she's going to be like, I'm ready now.
Yeah, and one of the things I've heard on one of the trainings is, if you do have a conversation and a health assessment and somebody doesn't come on board, and then all of a sudden they don't hear from you anymore, what does that feel like to them?
Rejection.
Yeah, like you were just trying.
She doesn't care. Yeah.
Right. You really don't care. So stay in touch with people. Don't just let it go and never talk to them again because they said no, because then they think, oh, it looks like all you were interested in was making a sale to them. They didn't want it, and it's like, goodbye, right?
Well, that I serve people for free all the time, so that's not a problem. I don't, if they come on program or not, we're helping them get healthy.
Right.
Then we're doing part of the mission, right? So
that's right.
I've actually found that when somebody's not ready, even if they have a relative who's pushing them, like the spouse wants them to go on program and they don't, I just drop it and work on our friendship. And all of a sudden, and then they start asking questions maybe a year later. And I've actually, because some of them I question their motivation, and I'll say, this isn't for everybody, but if you really want to know more, anytime. And then all of a sudden they have like FOMO, fear of missing out, and they do it reverse, and they want it. They're like, oh, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. So if you work on the relationship,
yes,
when they're ready, they're ready.
Yep. And actually,
they're not.
I love the fact that the ones who aren't ready to come on program, they're liking all my posts of like the lean and green recipes, and they're liking the posts. So they're watching, for somebody who's not right now, but they're like all of a sudden really interested and liking everything I'm posting. So I'm learning. This has actually been interesting to see how human psyche works in this process.
Yeah, I mean, you listen, the beauty of Facebook is that we don't have to try to sell anything or sell, all we have to do is be consistent and be giving valuable information and, gleaning the interest of our followers, and people come to us, and I know we've all experienced that. People come to us when they're ready. We don't have to be saying, are you ready? Do you want to do this? You just live out loud, and the recipes or the little tips and different, switching it up. keeps people's interest.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, good to see everybody. I know some of us are taking part in the boot camp that had started a week or two ago. Who's in the boot camp?
Not yet.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
So what do you guys think of the boot camp?
I didn't watch week 2 yet.
It was really good this week. I really enjoyed it.
It's giving really practical information, really systematic. Just like Gina Eccles' call tonight was giving very systematic steps to getting a client started. So I think, anybody can get involved with the boot camp. They're posted. They're reach out if you aren't part of it and you want to be. You can watch each week recorded. It's on the Facebook page of the boot camp. But it's really for people who just really want to, who want to grow and really kind of like learn the new system that is sort of simple and duplicatable. So, yes, Jackie, did you want to?
Yeah, that's my puppy. Well, I just want to say something about the systematic thing, because I was talking to Marlo, who's not on the call, but Marlo is one of my new coaches. And I said to her, we were in the middle of a conversation, and I said, all I can tell you is, from experience, follow the system. Do not veer off the system. The system is how you're going to build this business into whatever you want it to be. And she said, I will do that, but can you tell me why? Like, why? And I said, let me think about it. And I actually went back to her like later on that night, and I said, okay, this is why. Like, I gave her a few reasons in the beginning, but I said, like, I thought about it more when I hung up. And really the reason is it's just so much less work to follow the system. And it's exhausting to not follow the system. And from experience, I can tell you, if you do not follow the system, you will get burned out because you're doing too much. And following the system is easier. It's just easier. So I was in the company for a very long time. I built a thriving business, but I did not follow all of the systems the way they were designed, partially because I don't think it was a clear system. And I think it was very difficult to take part in the system because the system was in a million different places. And when I took time away and I came back in only willing to follow the system. Like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it the right way. And I have found, and we have found, that it's just an easier process. I'm not aggravated by it. I'm not annoyed by it. Everything is going the way it's supposed to go. And when it doesn't go, it's even in the system that it's not supposed to go sometimes.
So
Jackie,
Jackie,
when you just
say?
I was going to say, sorry.
I was going to ask, go ahead.
I was going to say, for people who aren't clear, when you say the system, what are you referring to?
I'm referring to starting people off the right way, right? Starting people off ordering as easily as you possibly can, right? Like, there are some people, if I have close friends, I'm going to help them pick their order. I just am. It's just what I'm going to do. But for the majority of people, it should be a kit. It should be a kit because they can exchange and they can return and they don't know what they're really going to like anyway. So for me, I felt like I was going above and beyond to give everybody a personalized experience, but it took me an hour. It took me 1 hour to place that first order. Kit, 15 minutes.
Jackie was the typical like hero coach that they always talk about.
Yeah.
You don't need to be the hero coach.
The system. So you do the text campaign for the first week, and you call every few days, and you have a conversation, and you ask what's going on outside of the weight. That's part of the system, right? We're asking people how they feel. We're asking people the right questions, like, what's different now that you lost 6 pounds in 3 days? And the answers are amazing. The answers are so inspiring. And guess what? You can screenshot those answers, and now you have a post for Facebook. Like, if you ask the right questions, you're going to get responses that other people want to see, right? So you can black out whoever it is that wrote it, and you can say, love getting a text message like this. Really feeling the impact when people are not concentrating on just weight. Because we don't want to be weight loss coaches. That's not how we're positioning ourselves. It's not how we're branding ourselves. So if all we do is talk about weight loss transformations on Facebook and on social media, that's all we are. So we have to show that people are changing in other ways. And the only way people are going to be changing in other ways is if we guide them to change in other ways. So we have to walk them through the Habits of Health system. We have to, I made a bunch of phone calls for returning clients and old clients and told them all about the system, and everybody ordered it. Like, it was like not even nothing. It's like, okay. And then me, because I have a concept that it's expensive. So I put that out on people. And even with me putting that out, hesitating, that hesitation they can sense. And me saying, well, it's $50, they feel that, like, oh, she thinks it's expensive. But still they saw the value in it, because on the front end of it, I guess I did a good job of explaining why I think they need it, right? So I'm learning it's not about the price. Look, people don't care. They really don't. And I started asking, how motivated are you?
It's about the value.
It's about the value. On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you? That question has changed my health assessments. It's completely changed my health assessments, because they will come back and they'll say, I'm a 12. And then it's like, okay, well, and then I do a follow-up and I say, how motivated are you to keep the weight off when you do lose the weight? And they'll say, well, of course, I'm a 12 in that too. And then I'll say, well, then it's really important that we talk about the Habits of Health transformational system, because that's how you're going to keep the weight off. And they're like, what's that? And that's how it's kind of just all flowing together. So, I mean, that's the system. The system is follow what they tell you to do and do it, right? Like,
Let me repeat that. How motivated are you to get started to lose this weight? Or how motivated are you to accomplish X, Y, and Z that you just described to me? I'm a 12. How motivated are you to keep that weight off once the weight is off? I'm a 12. Awesome. We have a system for that. We have the Habits of Health transformational system. This is so much more than just eating the food.
and no one has said no. They have all said, fantastic, I want that. That's what I need. So we have to get rid of the concepts, right? And we just have to follow the system. And I think we veer off the system. And what I've kind of learned this month is, I think I veer off the system out of fear of rejection, because I give them only what I think, what I decided they could probably handle to say yes, instead of giving them everything and giving them an opportunity to say no. But if they say yes to half of what I have to offer, they're not going to get what I really have to offer. And I think the past me would have said, well, I'll have time once I have the relationship to really show them the full offer. But let them know the full offer up front. And if they're not ready, they're not ready. Go do a diet somewhere else.
You want to give an example for that? When you're
Yeah,
saying,
I mean,
I want to give them the full offer up front.
right, the full offer, using the transformational system, saying that a lot of our clients go on to become coaches, using the last sentence, you know, is there anybody else in your life that would want to get healthy with you? And if they say yes, then you say, that's great. If you want to have a conversation with them, we can explore what health coaching would look like if you decide you want to do that. A lot of our clients do. And then, you know, if not, that's okay too. I would love to refer your friends, and there's a process that we would follow to make sure that I become their coach so that you guys are getting the same experience. So it's the full offer. It's the system. It's the diet. It's the coach. It's the opportunity for financial freedom. It's the whole thing. And if they're not ready for it, then they shouldn't do a piece of it, because then they didn't really get the full experience. And then if it worked or it didn't work, it's because they didn't get the full experience. So they're sharing half of our experience, right? Like, if we don't start everybody off the same way, then we don't control what they're putting out into the world about what we do as health coaches.
Good point, Jackie.
Right.
That's
That's
exactly
where
right.
I picked up trying to be super coach. It was you.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I steered you
It was
wrong.
You.
I'm,
But you know what? It's funny.
Claudia, I'm doing it the right way. Say hi, Claudia.
Me too. You're reminding me of what Joyce Meyer says. It's better to ask for everything and get half of it than to ask for a little and get all of it.
Exactly, because you're getting all of the little.
Right.
I don't want all of the little. I want you to know what the full thing is, and then you tell me what you're ready for, and then I can ask you why.
You know, I think what, as probably the newest coach on here, what I would say is to learn the system, there's nowhere to go to learn it. I have to learn it all through Jackie. And I feel, I mean, maybe I'm not looking in the right place, but like watching all the trainings, I had to piece together, you know, there's like a checklist of how you take someone from a health assessment all the way through, but it's not really fully complete. It doesn't have text campaigns in there and welcome messages and 2 days before do this. And then it gives you just like the bare structure, which is a good start. But I feel like I have to keep filling it in through my conversations with Jackie. And I didn't know if that was everybody's experience or just mine, because I'm very type A. And if I had sort of like a system that I could then replicate, I would feel a lot better about it. Not that I have a bazillion people to start, but I'm trying to get myself set up in a way that when that happens, I'm ready.
Claudia, did you watch the training just before this with Gina Eccles?
Yeah, I did. And she walked through a couple of things that I wrote down. But again, it's like, okay, send the new client email. But, you know, I've got to figure out where that is. And if you want to do a text campaign, okay, so there's a text campaign. I got to go find that out. And so ultimately what I end up doing is I send Jackie my questions and she's like, here you go. And she's setting me up to do it in the systematic way. But it's just not all neatly packaged. And so I'm finding myself just trying to pull it together. There's a lot more resources once you find it all, but then I just kind of have to organize it.
Yeah. And I think that once you start, you know, the first few clients, you'll kind of get the hang of that, like, you know, where you're keeping your new client welcome email. And, you know, so for me, when I start a new client right away, I put in my calendar 2 days before they want to start, send, you know, trigger email series. It's in my electronic calendar to remind me. And the text campaign is saved in my phone notes. So I think like, as you start to do it, it all sounds crazy, but once you start doing it, you kind of get the flow of it.
But you're right, Claudia. It's not one piece of paper that says, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And the reason it isn't what they tell us from the highest of the high of presidentials is that would be too overwhelming for people. That we give you things on an as needed basis, and that number one, it's supposed to create the sense of community where we team coach and we're working together. And number two, then you can put it where you need to put it in your organization of how you do things. So, but I 100% agree with you. And Marlo, who's starting at the same time as you and isn't here, is having the same experience. You know, there's a bunch of different Facebook groups, and there's a bunch of different places. There's the Google Doc for the text campaigns, and then there's the welcome email on Optavia Share, and then everything else is on the Learning Center. And it is a little bit confusing. And all I can say is I'm sorry. And as another type A, I try and have it as systematically ready for when it comes up to hand it to you in those bite-sized pieces, because that's the only thing we can do. I mean,
That's working.
Yeah, I mean, it's working. It's just, I know what you're saying. What you're saying is it would be great if there was a piece of paper and I don't have to reach out and I can just go bam, 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 bam. And it's all kind of ready for me. But
it is.
We're getting there.
There's so many resources in so many places. It's true. So I don't think what you're feeling is unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm in one of those dreams where I'm missing something. You know, like I'm taking a test, but the Civil War is going on and I have to write an essay and still shoot arrows. And it's just like I get very stressed about stuff like that. I feel like I'm missing something.
If it makes you feel any better, I've been doing this for 7 years and I feel just as lost sometimes. So I'm still learning the system myself.
I mean, the good news is we're all successful. So despite all these challenges, right?
Yeah, we make it work.
We're all able to kind of pull it together, and I still feel like there's a system. As much as my system is going to all these different places. Like, I know this happens, then I go here and I get the welcome email. And this happens, then I go here and I get the text campaign. So, you know, it's as systematic as I guess it can be right now.
Well, I want to celebrate Barbara Rossamilia because Barbara made a decision while we were at convention. Is that where we were? Convention?
Yes.
And Barbara has had a challenge of Facebook for all these years. She just has not gotten it. And she declared that she is going to master Facebook and really start using it. And Barbara has built a very nice business over the years without tapping into Facebook. And since we got back, she has really kept up with her declaration of mastering Facebook. And she's been posting and she's been mixing it up with health things and personal things. And I'm just so proud of her.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. And are you,
Barbara?
It's not easy. I stress over it every day.
Is it getting any easier?
Yeah, it's getting easier. It's getting easier.
And
you
are
know,
you-
it's like anything else. You have to make it part of your everyday. And that's what I've been trying to do. Like every day I say, okay, what am I going to post today? Which I'm trying to make it a habit.
Well, you're doing
But it doesn't
great.
come
Are you
naturally.
do you find that you're getting some interaction?
You know what? I really don't so far, but I think like anything, I need to give it, look, I haven't done it for so long, so I think I need to build up some momentum, and it's probably going to take 2 or 3 months. Like, I feel like the most responses I get are from like all of you guys, from the other coaches, you know, but you know, I think that takes time, right? Because
Yes.
I just started, like, you know, how long has it been? Like since convention, like not even a month, right?
Right.
So
Well,
I think it's going to take a while.
Yeah, and I will also say that Claire has really taken Facebook to the next level too.
It's very
Breaking up, Jen, I didn't
frustrating
hear
though.
you.
What?
It's very frustrating because I find that people like what I post. Where does it get to the point when someone says, gee, I want to jump on board and do what you're doing?
When they're ready.
When they're ready.
When
People
you ask them the right questions to show them how what you do doesn't have to be what they do, but they can take the experiences and make them theirs. Like, they may be looking and saying, well, I don't necessarily want to do that, but it's, if you can get them to think about the freedom you have to do that, then they'll think, well, what would I do with freedom?
Well, I think, and I think, Claire, you're saying, oh, they're all saying I look great, but they're not coming and asking me, can you help me? And
Right.
I would just say, don't expect it. Just keep doing what you're doing and get engagement on your page. Sometimes kind of ask a question and people will be answered, and that gets more engagement. I mean, not necessarily even about health, but like any kind of question. You know, what's your favorite book that you read this summer? I'm looking for a good book to read. Something that's going to get engagement. And over time, people will be reaching out to you. I mean, like I said, this one woman, it took 4 years. You know, there are people when I went to my 40th high school reunion that came over to me and said, I love what you're doing. You're really helping people. You're so inspirational. And I looked at them and I'm like, really? You don't think I'm annoying? And they're like, no, we love it. And these were people who never made a comment, never sent me a message. I didn't know they were watching. So, you know, people are watching. They're not all going to jump on board and say, hey, Claire, tell me what you're doing.
No, I know.
But just, you know, it's the consistency. It's adding more friends constantly. It's making some private messages. Happy birthday. Are you doing anything fun today? Hope you have a great time celebrating. Getting some of those conversations going. And, you know, you have to just trust. Listen, it's 15, 20 minutes of your day. It's one of the things that we do. So
Right.
Matt, Claire, Barbara, all of you guys really taking it up to the next level since convention. So I just wanted to shout out because I've seen it on all three of your on your pages. Great. And then Jane, did you want to say something?
Yeah, hi. I was just kind of wanted to change the topic a little bit to, since we're approaching the 15th of the month, we're middle of the month, and our goal is always to, you know, bring on 5 clients and maybe a spare. We call that the 6. How everybody's doing in that, and how they're going about it, and maybe share like an experience from it.
Okay, that's great. Great question. Anybody? Let me check what I'm doing here. Right. I think I'm only up to 3 this month, actually. I have a couple who ordered. Actually, they were going on a vacation, and they're gonna share their first order, and then after 2 weeks, he's gonna place his order. And then I had a couple of referrals. One is a teenage boy who's we're going to be ordering this month. The mother, there's a big buy-in from the mom, and she's going to really be helping him. My goal is always 5 new clients a month. So I'll probably be reaching out to some of my people that I've spoken to in the past, just check in on them. How are things going? Sort of following up with people who hadn't said yes to hit that 5.
I can share personally like 2 experiences that I've had in the last week. So this friend of mine, he is getting married. He's engaged and he's getting married in a month. And I'm getting to know his fiance. And I was having a conversation with him, and he knows what I do. And ironically, a long time ago, he was on the program when it was Take Shape for Life, and he had amazing success. But in our conversation, just checking in and saying hello and letting him know I was excited about going to his wedding, he said, Jane, you know, I could really tend to lose a few before my wedding. And I was actually having a conversation with this about my fiance, and my fiance's been watching you on Facebook. So anyways, that just me reaching out and calling my friend and saying, looking forward to your wedding. How are you doing? This turned into a surprise conversation with he and his fiance wanting to lose weight before their wedding. Mm-hmm. So I was, you know, so I've had a health assessment with her, and she had to go, so we couldn't finish, you know, it was like a quick 10-minute call, but we need to re-engage again. So I'm looking forward to having that follow up with her and him. And so it's just kind of reassuring just how we really do have to pick up the phone, whether it's follow up, just saying hello to a friend, because you'll never know.
Absolutely. That's great.
So for us, we started the boot camp last week, and we really needed structure. So our whole week has been about
making plans,
putting structure in place.
Like setting up our calendar times and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we're going to have specific times for client acquisition and client support and coach acquisition and coach support and Facebook posting. And I made my hundreds list for the first time in 6 years. And it was 148 people. And
I haven't done that.
Now my plan on my hundreds list is to strategically pick 10 people a week that I will reach out to about nothing.
Just to say hello.
Just to say hello. Just to engage those. I mean, at this point, I have like 1,200 friends on Facebook.
Jackie, were these 148 people that you actually have phone numbers of, or people that...
So I didn't even go through my Facebook friends. This was just going through my contacts in my cell phone. And it took a long time. I'm not going to lie. It took me like 2 hours. But I put them on my list, and then I made 3 columns, mind, body, finances, and I checked off what I believe is going to be the main focus for why I think they could use the program. But I'm just going to connect with them. I'm just going to
You're not calling them up and saying, hey, I think I have something for your mind or your body or your finances. You're just going to call and go, hey, how's it going? I was thinking of you. How's everything? How are your kids?
Just whatever is going on in their lives. And so funny, one person that ended up on my hundreds list that I had never thought about for the program before, I made my list on Sunday, and today she texted me. My mother-in-law's friend texted me.
Out of nowhere.
And said, and it's so funny because when I wrote her name down, I thought, this is so weird that I'm writing this name down, but I'm writing it down. And then today she texted me and said, I really need to lose 20 pounds. Is there any way I can work with you without having to drink so much water? And I said,
the water's the easiest part of the whole thing.
I said, absolutely, but I would love to get you on the phone so that you can tell me why that's so important to you. And she said, okay, tomorrow at 3. So tomorrow I have a call with her, and the call will be focused on why she thinks she can't drink all this water and why that has obviously been holding her back from talking to me for years. It has to
So Jackie, I have a suggestion. This bottle changed my life. And I recommended it to so many people. So because I stink at drinking water. I did up until 3 months ago. I was telling Janet about this at convention. It has all the times starting at 8 a.m. And then you fill it back up from 12 and you finish by 6. And the nice thing is it fits in your car holder. So for me, because I like to focus on meeting goals, I'm like, oh my God, it's 12 o'clock and I didn't finish my water. It really made all the difference to me.
And now, what's the name of it?
Where'd you get that?
Oh, Amazon. It's called Cactaki. Can you see it?
Put it in the Team Warriors, please.
Okay.
Can you type in Team Warriors?
It's great. Because I could eat a whole meal without drinking. It was 2 things. It was Facebook and water drinking that I was trying to overcome. And this is how I did the water, and now I'm working on the Facebook.
Barbara, put it on Team Warriors, but also put it on the Journey page with a picture of the water bottle.
Okay.
I have a question. Personal page. Barbara, honestly, this is the post. I just inspired a room of 12 health coaches to drink more water by telling them about this bottle. That's your post. And tag us. There's your post. And you don't have to stress about social media.
There you go.
I have a question about the water.
I don't have to stress. Thank you.
Good idea.
I have a question about the water. I noticed on the boot camp, it used to, when I started, it was take shape and it was drink half your body weight in water in ounces, right? So I was drinking 154 ounces.
Or a minimum of 64.
Right, but now I heard on the boot camp, someone said, oh, you have to drink about 68 ounces of water. Did they change it? Or is it still half your body
Karen,
weight?
it's a minimum of 64 ounces, but if somebody weighs a lot more, we do like to recommend half.
All right, because I just was wondering if I had missed something. That's all. Because it is people. You can laugh, Mike, but I hate water, and it was hard to drink 154 ounces of water. That was harder than following the diet.
Usually.
Yeah, I found it hard. I do it now. It's a habit. Now I don't even think about it, but it was hard at first.
But so it's funny. You don't know what's holding people back. So our week was built around structure. So we really created structure. And we also worked on friending people on Facebook that we were just meeting, which is very uncomfortable. But I have 5 new friends this week on Facebook that are random people that I met at random places. And Claudia did too, right, Claudia? And it's not easy. It's really uncomfortable, and but they're willing to be my friend. Like, in my head, I'm like, these people are going to think I'm crazy. And every one of them is like, sure, my name is here. Let me type it in for you. And now we're friends. So I met the checkout girl at the grocery store in LBI, who, as we were checking out, told us she's probably like over 300 pounds. And as we were checking out, what did she say?
said she was starting to lose weight, and she was asking us about healthy proteins and how she can make different types of
I don't
things.
even know why. She said something, and I said, oh, well, we're health coaches, so, we're excited. And she goes, oh, you're health coaches? Well, I just started to lose weight, and I need to ask you something. And I said, okay. And she said, what can I buy at the store that's a good, healthy snack? And I said, you know what? Let's become friends on Facebook. I post all sorts of healthy things on my page, and we can connect that way. And if you have any questions, we can have a conversation. And now we're going back and forth. And then there were 2 people at a brewery in LBI.
Oh boy.
And then
Listen, when you have a conversation with someone and you connect, whether you meet them at a bar or whether you meet them at a restaurant or whether you meet them at the train, once you have a conversation, you can say, gosh, it was so nice meeting you. Let's be friends on Facebook. Are you on Facebook? I know. I did the same thing. And that's how we're going to grow our list as well. And then you never even necessarily even have to mention that you're a health coach, because
Right, they see
get
it.
to know that when they see you on Facebook. So that's great. All right, I think we should end because it's 9:40, but it's just so good to all get together and see everybody and hear about everybody's structures and weeks and successes. And I am not going to be around next Monday. I'm going to be in Banff, Canada, with no internet. So do you guys all want to still have the meeting?
Yeah, we should probably. So we should.
we have a charity golf
Oh
outing.
yeah, that's true.
We're not going to be around either.
Well, let me check if someone else, Susan, do you want to? Does someone else want to do it and put their Zoom room up? I know Nora has her own Zoom room, so maybe she'll do it.
I could do it if people want to.
I could do my Zoom room. It's okay.
Okay. All right. So I guess. Yeah. Okay. So Susan, put your Zoom room and just put it up on the page.
I'll announce it on the page earlier in the day. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Great.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Take
Good
care.
night. Thanks everybody for coming on. It's great to see everybody.
Bye.